has today urged Kenyans to turn up in large numbers and vote on Thursday, but assured that he will respect the decision of those who will boycott the poll. The president was speaking during the National Prayer Day in Nakuru. The president made that appeal just days after IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati said he cannot guarantee the credibility of October 26th repeat presidential election. The chairman called for a meeting of the candidates and managed to meet NASA leader Raila Odinga, who maintained that he was willing to consider participating in a fresh election if his demands were met. President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto, on the other hand, have ruled out talks with the opposition on the repeat election and maintained that there will be no election on the 26th. Meanwhile, NASA says there will be no election on 26th of October. The government, on the other hand, through government spokesperson Eric Raithe, now say they are investigating a conspiracy by a section of NASA leaders to subvert the constitution and the rule of law by sabotaging democratic presidential election on 26th of October 2017. Question is, which way, Kenya?
If Kenya bans, it will be because we have not addressed these issues and because we have created an Orwellian society where some are more equal than others. Never forget the fact that the people for whom it bans all have the resources to relocate their families abroad in a minute. The people who will suffer are the innocent people of Kenya whose lives would have been permanently altered because of the inability of the people they look up to as leaders who have refused to dialogue.
A very good evening to you. Welcome to Crossfire, that show that looks at the events that have been happening politically across the week and trying to get the facts in everything that has been happening. So this evening, we have Amos Kimunya, Kipipiri Member of Parliament here in studio. Mheshimiwa, thank you so much for joining us. So we're also expecting Pamela Odhiambo. She's the Migori woman rep. She should be here any minute from now. And when she gets here, she'll be part of this conversation. So Mheshimiwa, like I mentioned, thank you for making time for joining us on Crossfire. So today, the president led the nation on the prayer day, and he made specific prayers and requests to God with respect to where Kenya needs to go. Could you listen into that, then have this conversation now?
And because it is uncharted waters, we are here to ask God yet again to take us through this phase. I know there is anxiety in the country. I know there are those who don't know what will happen. But we have come to Nakuru so that the country can know that all is well and that God is in charge.
Na nikaonelea yastahili sisi kama Wakenya, tukiwa taifa ambalo tuamwogopa Mwenyezi Mungu, tuje pamoja, tutubu dhambi zetu na tumuombe Mwenyezi Mungu aweze kutuongoza katika barabara ambaye iko mbele yetu.
Haya basi, Mungu aweze kutuongoza katika barabara iliyo mbele yetu. Mheshimiwa, National Prayer Day, is that really what the country needs? That is the question that a lot of people are asking right now.
I think at times like this, you know, when there's lots of confusion on the ground and lots of calls for all manner of things, some calling for violence, we've seen violence, we've seen total kind of chaos. At times like that, you might need to get closer together through prayer.
I know there are times that you can say.
And I think today being a Sunday, people are expected in church anyway, but rededicating this specific Sunday to pray for the country and for the way forward is the best thing to do. I mean, Kenya was even mentioned by the Pope in the Vatican.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kenya is in the hearts of people beyond here, right?
Okay.
So, I think the most important thing is that as leaders, we need to bring people together so they start focusing. on a nation that believes in God, a nation that fears God. And we have those words in our constitution, in the preamble, right? So, and in our national anthem. So I don't see anything wrong. I know some people have been saying perhaps we should not be doing this, we should be doing something else. But what is wrong with prayer?
I think the people who are asking that question are coming from this point. What is happening currently in the country has very little to do with God, so to speak. You have an election that the country is supposed to go to on 26th. Mm-hmm. You have IEBC chair who says he cannot guarantee free, fair, credible election. You have the opposition that says we have demands that we would like to see met that will ensure we have free, fair, credible election. Chebukati is calling to meet presidential candidates. It becomes a problem. There are times where probably people involve God in conversations that probably God should be left out. I mean, this has nothing to do with God.
But I think, let's start with 26th. We had an election on the 8th. One party went to court and said the process was not fine. Then the courts, in their wisdom, decided, let's have a repeat on 26th, right? Mm-hmm. Now, having agreed on that, okay, what choice do we have except now to go on 26th, first of all, because the courts decided on that, okay? It's the law. It's the right of the Kenyan people, right, to have a president elected by them, okay? So basically, what all these others are talking of, the Chebukatis and all that, I'm surprised that he would even be having any doubt on his own systems, because he has assured us severally that IEBC is ready.
Oh, did you listen to him this past week?
I think probably the heat of the moment, after the departure of fellow commissioner. But he's assured us that all is ready.
He's assured you, but then he's also coming back to say, I cannot guarantee a free, fair, credible election.
But what is there to... The ballot papers are being printed, right? Mm-hmm. This is not the first election IEBC is conducting, right? They've done it before. They even did it on the 8th.
Which was nullified?
Which was nullified because of processes. We've been assured. Today's paper, they had 10 items that they identified as saying the following 10 items will be different from last time. So they are prepared and they are guaranteeing us. I know that they've trained their POs, they've trained their staff. We are training our agents. So what is there between now and Thursday that will stop this election from being credible?
Mheshimiwa, you have the chairman of the IEBC saying, I cannot guarantee a free, fair, credible election. And it's not a big deal, is it? From where you sit?
I suppose from his own perspective is, I'll be there in my team. Okay. We'll have the ballot papers, we'll have the ballot boxes, we'll have the clerks and everything else. But it's up to the voters to come or not to come, right? Mm-hmm. And after that, the counting has always been done. The tallying is even easier this time, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's you're only doing the counting for one election. Last time we had 6.
Okay, right? I think this is where he's coming from. When you listened into the Supreme Court ruling, Chief Justice David Maraga was very categorical. He said, if a petition of this nature is brought before me, I will still nullify it. And probably Chebukati is sitting at a place and is saying, I need to have an election that will be free, fair, credible. And when you listen to him this past week, he said, it's already bad enough that he presided over an election that has been nullified by the Supreme Court. So maybe he wants a clean election where no one will have reasons to petition.
But what exactly is he missing?
You didn't listen to him?
No, I listened. But you see, I expect somebody to come and say, for example, we are having a challenge with these following forms. Okay. They've not been printed. Like he said before, that he needs to change the day from 17th to 26th because the servers needed to be reconfigured or the system needed to be reconfigured. Okay. Now, we are not in a situation where we have some specific items that we are told, because of A, B, C, D, I'm not ready. Okay? Now, we talk reform, we talk of processes, to confuse people, right? Okay. But as far as I'm concerned, we've done these elections even at the party level, right? Okay. Conducting an election is not rocket science. People try to make it look like it's the elections every day, even in churches, even in the villages. If
it wasn't rocket science, Mheshimiwa, with all due respect, surely it wouldn't have been nullified, would it?
It was nullified because of the you know, the courts, and we don't want to go to merits or demerits of why it was nullified.
Yeah.
These are all systems things.
But then you do agree that it needs to be free, fair, credible.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it will be.
You're sure? With the chairman saying, a quote, "I'm convinced that without critical changes in the key secretariat staff, we may not have a free, fair and credible election. I ask the staff who have been adversely mentioned to step aside and allow the project team to function without interference."
Yes. It's all within his powers.
To do it.
To change the staff. We on
Like
the
he
outside,
mentioned,
we on the outside can go. I don't even know who asked at IEBC, and I shouldn't even know. We as politicians, the President Uhuru and the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila, and indeed Dida and all the others, should not have any business to do with the internal processes of IEBC, including who is the staff member.
Okay, so
it is the commissioners and their chairman, right?
Okay.
We've given them that responsibility. We've given them the funding. Let them sort out their house, right? And not start crying that, oh, I can't even sack my people, so I'll not be ready, right? But we've seen the training of POs. We've seen the recruitment of returning officers, yeah? And their training, yeah? So whoever is at the secretariat, I'm not even sure what they are. So
from where you said Chebukati should just go ahead and preside over this election and...
We are tired. And Kenyans are tired.
Okay.
And I think that is a message we're getting across. Even when you go campaigning, people are saying, Uhuru, what are you doing? We are tired of waiting.
Okay.
The economy is tired. Okay? I'm sure you're all tired. Now, you look at, we cannot keep permanently in a state of just thinking about elections. What will happen? Will it be nullified? Will it not? Let's get on 26th. Let people go and vote. Okay? Last time, 78% voted. 22 opted not to vote. We're hoping of the 78, right? As much of them as possible will come, and some of the ones in 22 will actually vote. But those who don't want to vote, you're basically telling them it's your right.
Okay.
Stay at home if you need to, but don't disrupt me on my way to vote, because I'll defend that right.
Listen, it's interesting that you say Kenyans are tired.
Yes.
And it would even be more tiresome for them to go through this process again. And that is why there's a rally from religious leaders to specific leaders as well, political leaders, religious leaders. Kenyans themselves are saying, guys, can we ensure that we have a free, fair, credible election? And on that note, I'd want us to listen to Wafula Chebukati, the IEBC chair, this particular week when he was talking about this repeat election and why exactly he's a troubled man. Could we listen in?
Yes, but all my motions have been defeated by a majority of the commissioners. Under such conditions, it's difficult to guarantee free, fair, and credible elections. Without critical changes in key secretariat staff, free, fair, and credible elections will surely be compromised.
IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati there just saying, really, if some of the things that he highlighted are not met, then probably he will not be able to have a free, fair, credible election. You're watching Crossfire. Like I mentioned, we have Amos Kimunya Kepipiri, Member of Parliament. We are expecting Pamela Odhiambo, Migori woman rep. She was to be here by 8. We're still waiting for her, but all the same, this is a critical conversation that I will not just restrict to this studio. It's a conversation that I would want to have with millions of Kenyans out there, because what happens on the 26th affects all of us. It affects the history of this country. It affects the future of this country. And probably that is why there was even a call to have a prayer day. So as we speak right now, I want to involve you to be part of this conversation. There are lines that are scrolling at the bottom end of your screen. Please call in and let us know what you think about this entire process and where this country is heading. As I speak right now, I understand we have Hassan Malim from Mandera. Hassan, good evening. Thank you for calling into Crossfire. What's your contribution or your question? Hassan, can you hear me? Okay, we seem to have lost Hassan. But Mheshimiwa, listening into Wafula Chebukati, and he says, I cannot guarantee this.
But you see, he's
less than a week.
He's behaving like a politician. And I believe he was playing politics, playing to the cameras.
You're a politician, so maybe you can help us understand he's behaving like a politician.
Yes, because he has a very clear role, a constitutional mandate to deliver an election. He has a court order telling him you must conduct an election on the 26th. Or at least within 60 days. He chose the date of the 26th. I can't see anything myself that has happened that would give me any doubt as to whether we're having an election or not, except the disturbances being created by one of the candidates. okay?
Okay.
Which has nothing to do with IEBC.
And you don't think the issues that are being raised by one of the candidates is credible? Like, you don't think it has issues that he's raising? I mean, when the Supreme Court was giving its ruling, it says there were illegalities and irregularities. Have these illegalities and irregularities been addressed before you go into a next election? Because otherwise, you're looking at another annulment.
We saw NASA give, I think, some 16...
Irreducible minimums.
Irreducible minimums, yeah? We also saw a response by IEBC to each of those, right? I've not seen a reaction from NASA saying, yes, you've not satisfied our wishes.
Okay, hold on, Mheshimiwa.
Since that time.
Hold on.
Right?
Let me speak to Joseph from Nairobi. Joseph, hi. Good evening. Thank you for calling into Crossfire.
Hello.
Hi.
I applaud KTN for allowing a long comment.
Okay. Joseph, please reduce the volume of your TV because I'm struggling to hear you. Reduce the volume of your TV, please.
My TV down.
Joseph?
Yes, my TV down.
Okay, I'm struggling to hear Joseph. Joseph, please reduce the volume of your TV. That's the only way we'll be able to communicate.
Yeah, my TV is on.
Okay, I'm having problems hearing what Joseph is saying. Mheshimiwa, go on.
Yes, so basically, what I was saying is the courts have decided.
Okay.
The Constitution is very clear that you must have this election within 60 days, right? So I'm not sure what other irreducible minimum we should be looking at, except to have the election on 26th.
Irrespective of the outcome, irrespective of the processes?
Now, the outcome will be very clear. President Uhuru will win, okay? All right?
Okay.
I mean, that's now becoming more clear by the day.
Yeah.
And it was very clear from the word go that Prime Minister Raila was going to lose.
Okay.
And I think that's why he's withdrawing and creating all manner of excuses, because he doesn't want to suffer the humiliation of losing a fifth time and twice in a month, right? Or twice within the same year. So he knows he's going to lose, and he knew he was going to lose. In fact, I keep saying that the decision by the Supreme Court was not exactly what Raila was hoping for. He was hoping they would, support IEBC's pronouncement, right? Uphold it, so that he could then go to town with the fact that even the courts have been compromised. Remember, at first, he had doubted the courts and said a decision cannot be bent by 7 people. Just before when he was being pushed to go to court, he had written off the courts. But immediately, they invalidated the election. They now became his friends, right? Okay. Then reality struck him. He needs money to campaign. He needs about 200 million shillings to pay the agents on that day.
And this is someone is also,
right?
somebody will also ask in the same breath, where's Jubilee getting all the money it's using to campaign and
it has friends, it has supporters.
So NASA doesn't have friends?
Well, they tried with the pay bill. How much did they raise?
Okay, yeah? So...
And you can see, perhaps that is what opened his eyes and said, if people I'm expecting to support me cannot even support me on this pay bill thing, so he's just realized he's lost all his supporters. Okay. Look at all the governors who've left, okay? Never mind that they lost the elections, but they have people, they are supporters.
But they still lost.
No, they lost because Jubilee was more popular, okay? And perhaps they lost because of NASA. The governor for Kajiado, if he was in Jubilee, he would have won, right? Okay. All those guys who lost in NASA, had they been in Jubilee, most likely they would have won. Okay. Hassan Omar would have won.
In Mombasa?
In Mombasa.
If he was in Jubilee?
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Where are you getting your figures from? Where are you getting your statistics from?
Because we want so many others.
Okay.
Linda, at least we know one thing is very clear. Raila would have lost this election. And will lose again. Even if it's postponed by another 90 days, or even by 1 year, he will lose again, right?
Okay.
So let's not continue, keeping the country in suspense, just so that one person can prepare to hopefully win. And because he knows he can't win, he's now looking for other avenues through dialogue, through negotiations.
Let me ask you, Mheshimiwa, does it even matter that Chebukati says he's not able to guarantee a free, fair, credible election? And you have Commissioner Kombe also resigning and basically saying this is a chairman under siege. It doesn't bother you? I mean, this election still has to go on irrespective of what's going on around.
I think Kenyans, like I said, Kenyans are tired, okay?
Okay.
And we cannot keep this economy on hold. Soon, there'll be no jobs for anyone, all right?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So soon, kids will be going back to school in January. We've already disrupted their examinations and, you know, the term. Mm. If you had to then wait for another 90 days or whatever time is required, yeah, if nothing has been done in the 60 days, it won't be done in 90 days.
Okay.
Yeah? And what I want to hear from Chebukati and all the others is specifics. That we are not ready on item 1, 2, 3, and this is how it's likely to affect the election.
So unless and until he does that, this election goes on as
Exactly.
is. Okay. So yeah. Chebukati also gave some demands, and part of it was to meet President Uhuru Kenyatta and NASA leader Raila Odinga. And Uhuru has been categorical. He has absolutely nothing to discuss with Chebukati.
He's a candidate.
So we'll have a conversation about that when we get back here on Crossfire. Mheshimiwa Pamela Odhiambo is also just walked into the studio, so we are going to have her as part of this conversation as well on Crossfire. Stay with us.